Welcome to My Stories to Tell.
The old house.
Jake and Ben were sprinting through the dark, heart racing, as they desperately tried to escape their enemy. They ran for hours before finally stopping at an old house. They stepped inside and found themselves trapped in a spooky old house. The only light came from the pale moon hanging in the inky black sky, which revealed dust motes dancing in the air and cobwebs strung between the floorboards. Every step they took was like a drum solo in the vast emptiness, amplifying their pounding hearts. They dashed into a room and curled up under a warm blanket on a dusty bed. Peeking out from their hiding spot, they saw a rocking chair in the corner slowly start to rock. Then they heard the sound that froze their blood, the dragging of heavy chains. It was coming closer. Whatever was making the noise was getting closer. Bennett stopped right outside the bedroom door. They found scratches on the door where something had tried to claw its way in during the night. But what? Neither of them had seen anything. Now they were desperate to get out of the house. But as they crept toward the front door, they realized they weren't alone. A woman in a Victorian nightgown stood in the doorway, and when she turned her head, her face was horribly disfigured. She reached out a hand to touch Jake, and then she was gone. Startled, Jake and Ben froze. Then they ran to the window and climbed out, escaping just in the nick of time before the house started to shake violently, as if in a fit of rage. Outside, they found a little girl in a tattered nightgown. She looked back at them with big, sad eyes, and then she vanished. Jake and Ben looked at each other, their faces pale. They had no idea what was going on, but they had to get out of there. They raced through the woods behind the house, not stopping until they reached the safety of a small town. There they decided to split up, hoping to find help on their own. Jake went into a diner, but as he entered, he saw the little girl in the corner booth. She beckoned to him with a finger, and then she disappeared. When Jake looked around, he noticed a woman sitting in the same spot. She was wearing the same nightgown as the ghost, and her face was horribly disfigured, just like the ghost. Jake screamed and ran out of the diner. He didn't know where he was going, but he didn't want to be anywhere near that house again. Eventually, he stumbled out onto a road and started walking. He didn't know where he was going, but he didn't care. He just wanted to get away from that house and the ghosts that lived there. Meanwhile, Ben had gone in the opposite direction. He was walking along a dirt road when he came across a cemetery. As he walked among the gravestones, he saw that many of them were missing their headstones. Some of the graves were so old that all that remained was a faint imprint in the soft earth. But one grave was new. It was the only one with a headstone, and the inscription on it read, "Here lies Mary, who died on this day 100 years ago." As Ben looked around, he realized that he wasn't alone. The woman in the Victorian nightgown was standing behind him. When she turned to leave, Ben saw her face. It was the same face that had stared back at him from the grave of Mary. Then she was gone. Ben ran from the cemetery, not daring to look back. He didn't know where he was going, but he didn't want to be anywhere near that house or any more ghosts. As the sun began to rise, Jake and Ben met back at the edge of the woods. They were both shaken by what they had experienced, but they were just glad to be alive. And even though they had lost their enemy, they knew that wherever they went, trouble was sure to follow.
Please like and subscribe for more creative stories.